veya formu doldurabilir misiniz? Öğlenden önce
benim aile saatte ben. Sizin isminizi alayım ben. Bilal.
Sizin de gözükmüyor. Online kaydınız var mı arkadaş? İsim soyasını Serhat Hacı. Geçebilirsiniz.
Ben de bir arkadaşımdan birlikte o da online kayıt oluyor ama gecikti.
O gelince isim soyasını söyleseniz yardımcı oluruz. Evet.
Kayıt
Evet. Online kaydınız var mı? Kart vizitiniz varsa kart vizitiniz yoksa form doldurursunuz. İsim soyasını alalım. Hoş geldiniz Serhat. Teşekkürler. Geçebilirsiniz.
Merhaba, kayıt yaptık onlarda ama
Kartınız var mı? Ya kart vizit vermeniz gerekiyor ya da form doldurmanız.
Bir form doldursanız ya da kart listeniz varsa çok sevinirim.
Ben alayım onu.
Online kayıt yapmayı alayım isminizi.
Münir'de zaten. Münir ve ne yiyoruz? Zaten.
Evet, buyurun hoş geldiniz.
Şey anlıyorum.
İmza atmamış mıyım?
Seviniriz ya.
Ver imza atacağım. Kaleminiz var mı rica etsem?
Şöyle vereyim.
Ben de yok. Maalesef şuradan alayım.
Merhaba, biz internetten gördük. Tamam, isim soyisim alabilir. Çok mutlu oldum.
İmza yoksa kalem getirin.
İyi akşamlar, merhabalar değerli misafirlerimiz. İstanbul Serbest Mimarlar Derneği Konferanslar serisinin ikincisine bu keyifli kalabalıkla bir araya gelerek çok mutluyuz. Çok teşekkürler değerli ilgileriniz için. Sizleri karşılamak ve hoş geldiniz demesi adına İstanbul Serbest Mimarlar Derneği Yönetim Kurulu Başkanı Sayın Ertuğrul Hızıroğlu'nu kürsüye davet ediyorum.
İstanbul Serbest Mimarlar Derneği adına hepinize hoş geldiniz diyorum. Seri konferanslarımızdan bahsedildiği gibi ikincisini yapıyoruz. Üçüncüsünü Ekim'in ilk yarısında gerçekleştireceğiz. Bugün tarihiyle beraber gelmek istiyordum ama kesin tarihi maalesef koyamadık. Ama siz yine de ajandalarınıza Ekim ayının ilk yarısında sinema, mimarlık ve müzik konusundaki misafirlerimizle olan toplantıya beklediğimizi şimdiden söyleyeyim. Ben yine misafirlerimize de hoş geldiniz demek isterim. Onlar değişik ülkelerden. Bizlerin davet İstanbul Serbest Mimarlar Derneği'nin daveti üzerinde aramızdalar. Bugünkü konuşmaları için tekrar onlara da teşekkür ediyorum. Bizleri destekleyen, bugünkü toplantımızı gerçekleştirmede yardımcı olan Ytong firmasına da teşekkürlerimi sunarım. Hepinize iyi akşamlar diliyorum ve sözü konuşmacılara bırakıyorum. İyi akşamlar efendim.
Evet, neredeyse bugün tüm dünya ile buluşuyoruz. İtalya, Almanya, Fransa, İngiltere, Çin ve Türkiye tam tamına 6 farklı ülkeden genç mimarlar kendi ülkelerindeki mimarlık pratiklerini anlatmaları adına, tasarım öykülerini paylaşmaları adına aramızdalar. Bu oturumu, bu keyifli söyleşiyi de yönetmesi için ben sevgili Hülya Ertaş, Bir Dergisi Genel Yayın Yönetmeni sahneye davet ediyorum.
Hello everyone. Tonight we are together with 7 young architects from China, France, Italy, UK, Germany and Turkey. First let me do a quick introduction and or maybe we can just have a sit and please. In the meantime, I'll do the introduction. Alişan Çırakoğlu on the stage. He has graduated from Middle East Technical University in 1996 with a bachelor degree in architecture and completed his master's in the same university. After working in a series of offices in Ankara and Istanbul between 1996 and 1999, he established his architecture office, Çırakoğlu Architects. And next to Alişan is Thomas Giselini. He has graduated as an architect in 2002, is leading the architecture studio at the Ferrara University since 2004. Having established his office, Thomas Giselini Architects, in 2009, he has entered and won a series of competitions. And next to Thomas is Nicolas Letchard. Nicolas graduated from École Spéciale d'Architecture in Paris in 2000 and worked for projects in West Africa, mainly Gabon and Ivory Coast. In 2004, he founded the architecture firm Altı together with Miska Ankütey and Frank Forde. He is also still teaching at ESA. And next to Nicolas is Anna Louis. She has graduated from architecture at Columbia University, and after working for practices in China, Japan, USA, and the UK, then she set up the Tonkin New architecture office with Mike Tonkin in 2002. Next to Anna is Frank Eitorf. After getting his diploma of architecture in Bochum, Frank completed his master's at Academy of Arts in Düsseldorf. After working in several architecture offices through Europe, Frank established his office in 2002. He is still teaching in Hanover since 2010. And next to Frank is Lin Shu Wu. After graduating from South China University, Lin Shu completed master's programs in Grenoble Institute of Urbanism in 2007 and Araya in Paris in 2009. After working in architecture offices in France from 2006 to 2010, Lin Shu returned to China and set up his firm, Baro Design in Shenzhen. And the last one, Ali Hızıroğlu. He has completed his architecture education in École Spéciale d'Architecture in Paris in 2000 and did his master's in Columbia University. Since 2003, he is working in area architecture and planning in both Istanbul and Beijing offices. So, now I can sit. With this great opportunity of coming together with architects from different countries, we will be focusing on the challenges of being a young architect. So, what is a young architect? That's the main question nowadays. In 1952, architectural historian Henry Russell Hitchcock had defined young architect as the architect of under the age of 40. So that assumption is still relevant, I guess. So here we are with 8 architects, including me, who can be defined as young architects. And now, in Turkey, with the abundance of because there are too many architectural competitions now, I see that young people are just setting up their own offices just after graduation. But as far as I can see, getting a commission is a lot harder than establishing an architecture office. So we would like to hear all of your stories about the challenges that you have faced, and maybe it's about your relationships with the clients or the contractors, or it's about managing the office. I think it will be great to hear stories from other countries, because when you are too much into your own country, it's just like, it seems like it's only your own problem of being a young architect. So we can start with anyone. Thomas.
Nobody wants to sit. Nobody wants to start the thought. But okay, I'll be the first if you want. First of all, I would really like to thank all the organization committee for inviting me. This is just a great experience, and every single opportunity you have to present and to talk about your work is just so welcome, and it's really appreciated. So thank you very much, first of all. Let's talk about Italy. Well, if you want to do this job in Italy, that's the challenge, okay? That's a real challenge. Doing this job in Italy is a real challenge, because it's so difficult right now. Italy is going through a very delicate phase of, we could say passage. It's a sort of passageway between an era and another. And there is a very, very strong and social tissue, but the political balance is very delicate, is continuously very delicate, and there's a social tension that is undercover, but you can perceive it really, really much. And so doing this job and in this particular moment is very, very difficult, because you have no money and you need lots of money to do that work, but you get not the chances to do that. And so in my experience, for instance, I started doing competition. At a certain point, after working with 2 or 3 different practices, I decided the moment to do on my own had come, and so I started 3 competitions, very close one to the other, and won all 3. And so at that moment, I was completely forced to open my studio and to open my office and so my practice. And so in a certain way, I was completely obliged to do that, and it was quite pressing, because I had no experience at that time. And then I thought, okay, we're in Italy, so I won a competition, but the project absolutely will not be done, okay? And instead of that, all 3 projects were built, and so that was just a great chance I had. Talking about me.
Okay.
Yeah, I had a similar experience when competitions are considered. I started my business officially by winning an architectural competition, a national competition, but unfortunately it was not built. Then we won 2 other competitions, and they were not actually built. So architectural competitions, but made us some sort of motivation for us winning a competition and being known at the community. That's how our competition served our practice. So now, after like 12 years after winning the first competition, we are still trying to attend and enter competitions, but once or twice a year. So that's a kind of still a kind of a challenge for us, and that's how we spare some time for competitions at the office. So
when we felt the recession coming, we instantly went into sort of overdrive. You know, we did loads and loads of competitions, and luckily, it was successful in one of them, which kept us through the last 5-6 years, I would say. And we also shrank, and it became very small. And I think that was a good thing because it made us very flexible, so we could choose the projects we wanted to do. And the other thing came out of the competition process was, although we didn't win a lot of them, something came out that really interested us. And because it was the recession and there was not much work going on, we had time to pursue this one thing. And you know, I think you'll see in some of the slides this sort of new structural technique that we developed with the engineers at Araya. Which, after 13 projects of various sizes, and from bridges to ferry terminals to pavilions, finally I think we're going to build a bridge through this technique, and that's sort of 5 years later. So the research and the things that we thought were lost causes during the recession and the competition era are finally gathering momentum in this maybe a new period of growth.
I may continue or friends avance.
Nous, pour parler un peu d'histoire d'Alu, on est parti avec rien du tout. C'est-à-dire qu'on n'avait aucun financement, on était 3 passionnés d'architecture et on avait imaginé en sortant de l'école qu'on pourrait effectivement participer à des concours. Alors, en France, l'organisation des concours commence par une présélection qui se fait sur référence. Donc c'est un petit peu le serpent qui se mord la queue, c'est-à-dire que vous n'avez pas de référence, donc vous n'êtes pas retenu, donc vous ne pouvez pas faire de référence. On a donc pris un parti qui était de s'attaquer à des tout petits projets, qui étaient des projets politiquement complexes, qui étaient très durs à mener, des projets sociaux notamment pour les aires d'accueil. C'est pour ça que j'ai voulu mettre cette photo, parce qu'elle n'a pas l'ambition architecturale de celle que vous avez vu passer avec des petites boîtes en béton et des couleurs. C'est pas un projet qui a une ambition architecturale, mais il y a une histoire sur le développement de la société derrière cette photo. C'est-à-dire qu'il y avait une vraie volonté d'aller à la rencontre des décideurs au travers de projets polémiques et complexes. Même si c'était des tout petits projets qui n'intéressaient pas grand monde, nous, ça nous a permis de rencontrer les gens et ensuite de pouvoir se faire connaître pour enfin se faire retenir sur des concours. Il faut savoir qu'on a commencé, on était dans une petite ferme, on n'avait pas de bureau, on est vraiment parti de rien. Et on a construit petit à petit et la société comme ça, c'est-à-dire d'un côté une partie vraiment dédiée à la survie de la société, et ensuite quand on a pu se l'offrir, du temps. Et à ce moment-là, c'est là où, mais je pense qu'on en parlera tout à l'heure, la notion de naïveté qui était, à mon avis, très importante à préserver quand vous sortez de l'école. On a essayé de retrouver cette naïveté de l'architecture qui nous plaisait en sortant de l'école et pour la réintroduire ensuite dans nos projets au fur et à mesure de notre développement.
Maybe this issue of naivety might be further extended because it's one of the, I think, main positive parts of being young architect, because as much as you get experienced, the more concrete your ideas might get. I mean, do you still find that naivety can live a little bit longer in you?
Absolutely, I think it's essential. I don't think it's to do with age, it's to do with this sort of innocence or willingness to explore and experiment. If you can't bring yourself to do it, then you would be fearful of doing things because you can always find reasons not to do something. So I think that innocence is really, really important.
C'est à mon avis la plus grande des richesses qu'on a quand on sort de l'école avant de commencer sa carrière en architecture. C'est cette naïveté. Après, on est bombardé dans notre carrière à la fois par les normes, par les problèmes économiques, personnels, la société, mais aussi pour mener les projets. On gagne des projets en 2006 et on le construit peut-être ou pas du tout et on finit enfin le construire en 2014. Donc c'est arriver à garder une part de cette naïveté est un combat de tous les jours, mais c'est essentiel à mon avis, parce que je pense que quand on sort de l'école d'architecture, quand on veut faire une carrière d'architecte, avec un petit peu d'ambition, je pense que c'est l'outil principal qu'on peut avoir pour arriver ensuite à 50 ans, à 55 ans, quand on est un vieil architecte et non plus un jeune, à passer peut-être au-dessus du lot. Je pense que c'est ça qui est important. Il y a beaucoup de nos confrères qui sont, à mon avis, avec le temps, rattrapés par tous ces problèmes et ne font plus que, enfin nous on appelle ça en France faire de l'alimentaire, c'est-à-dire en fait faire des projets parce qu'ils sont rentables et parce qu'ils permettent de vivre. Mais on ne fait pas ce métier-là que pour ça, heureusement.
Je vais rentrer maintenant en Allemagne, in Germany. The naivete, first of all, in Germany we are still young architects up to 50 years old, so it's, I feel young. and I think in Germany it's like, because we kind of named our office Friends, kind of a lot of friends, and so as you as student, you somehow you may know people you will work in future with, maybe, as friends. And for my part, it was my teacher. I was in second semester, and and it was in the beginning a friend when I was a student working in this office. And with the time I had different competition, and different times I kind of quit the office. I went somewhere in the world, but we were still friends. And in the time of being friend of Ercan, kind of our relation changed a bit. Now we do a lot of things together, and I'm not anymore his trainee or doing an internship there. And so I mean, and it's now we started to know each other in '99, and so. First thing is maybe a teacher could be a friend in the end. You are studying right now, or a friend of you. You drink some beers and make stuff together, and you work well together. Maybe it will be then your friends. And I think this friendship can you also feel with other in cooperation and things like that. And I think this is very interesting about being in foreign countries and feeling forever young with other friends, feeling, let's say, forever young in the architecture, in the naivety of France or Italy or Turkey. I think that's somehow, and I think that's everywhere. I feel a friend almost everywhere like that.
I'm sorry for my English. So maybe I can speak in Chinese. I need maybe the great translator will translate in Turkey for me. So in China is quite different to Europe. 我就说从中国来说吧。作为一个年轻的建筑师，可能就是有两方面，一方面的话就是机会太多，然后另外一方面的话就是机会太少。为什么我这么说呢？机会太多的话，就是说我在一些大型的公司里面的一些年轻的建筑师，他会获得很多的机会去做一些很大的建筑，例如从20万到50万的一个建筑物 shopping mall， 还有是 housing 这些案子，可能在欧洲来说，作为年轻建筑师，可能是没有机会去想象。但是这里面有一些诱惑吧，我觉得从中国这个角度来出发看，因为呢，更多的话，地产商它可能更多是利益的最大化。这一点呢，就是会让建筑师的话语权缺失。我的意思呢，就是 开发商更多的就是为了经济利益不断的开发，就建设的更快。然后我们的建筑师的话，就更多的沦为就画图的工具。所以呢，就是从建筑这个角度是没有任何的寓意。然后另外一点的话，就是一些想独立创作的年轻的建筑师的话，他机会非常少，因为例如那个我们有一些很大的案子会给到国际的公司，还有一些国内的大型的公司，留给年轻独立创作的年轻的建筑师的机会非常的少。好像我们之前的有一个案子，就是有个学校120 School。就是我会花大概50%的时间跟甲方去吵架，然后喝酒，然后还有吃饭什么来的，就是还有50%的时间呢是做我们的案子。所以从这个角度来看，我们是要花大概3倍左右的时间去做一个好玩一点的建筑。我是从中国这个角度去分析下来，作为年轻建筑师的一个思考。English is okay?
Yeah, it's okay. Okay, sure.
Yeah. Maybe Ali, you're working in China. I think you can have some conversation with observation in China and in Turkey. I think it is almost the same thing, maybe.
I think there are quite a lot of similarities in that sense. In the way that these last 10 years, 10-15 years, how the growth has been in this country in terms of building sector. One might think that there are a lot of opportunities for architects to develop their own practice. But at the same time, I think it's still quite narrow, and I feel that in a way in China as well, that there are so many constructions and so many things going on, but at the same time these main structures which are really huge. I mean, there are like 5,000 to 10,000 people, companies even, and architects work there. So how do you get out of that major system and try to become yourself? I think I believe it's a little bit more difficult in a way in China than here, I would say, because of the competition, the number of people. Although there are a lot of buildings going on, but you cannot reach the investor, you cannot reach beside the competitions. I think it's quite difficult to have a face-to-face relationship with the people who wants to allow you to create actually spaces. In Turkey it's a little bit more different in the sense that the chances are a little bit more even, I believe, compared to China.
Yeah, it seems that the only maybe the most possible way to start a career in architecture seems to do a competition in what we are talking. So, but there should be some other tools. I mean, some other ways of doing, I guess. Is it only architecture competitions, or?
Well, you can do like I did. You can be lucky enough to have an architect father, and then you can go on in the same office as the family. But I mean, this is one of the ways.
Actually,
but the struggle just starts there. I mean,
in Turkey, it's a little bit different from some other countries. As you are graduated from the university, you have the right to build the building. You have the right to sign a project to building become reality. So I think this is
not the way it is like in Turkey. In most of the countries, you have some apprenticeship. In some countries, you have to take some exams or take some sort of other licenses to practice architecture as an individual architect. So it depends on the young architect to find other ways of commissions from the market. And there are many ways other than competition, of course.
I think one of the best ways is somehow to teach. Because it allows you to be still in touch with young persons and to have this dynamic, to feel it, to stay forever young maybe, or longer young, let's say. And also you have a kind of, and that was very important for me, to have somehow a sort of money getting in every month, and I knew I can invest that amount of money in maybe a competition. And I think this is very important to start, at least to have a starting point, let's say that's my way. And of course you have a sort of 6 years, so we make a 6 years plan. After 3 years you have a certain number of things done, not only competition, but you invested more than you get, let's say. Well, it was in my case so. And then the deadline will be in 2 years, and so you start to really to think about more strategic, but you have done some things to this moment, really to show on internet, to have contacts, and to be somebody who had done some things, and not anymore to show student projects. And I think for the freedom as a teacher at the university is very, very, very good, and it's very nice.
Yeah, I think any sort of network that enables you to meet kindred spirits, like people you like to collaborate with, and it goes back to your point about friendship. I think at the moment many of the projects are coming from people we know, whether it's people we work with before as structural engineers, or previous staff even, based in different parts of the world, Abu Dhabi to sort of Spain, and that's really an exciting thing for us. So any sort of network, so rather than be sort of quite isolated in only doing what you do, but trying to find people with sort of similar interests would really help.
Yeah, I think it's just a question, it's even a question of understanding that this job is being really transformed every day. So if you're an architect today, you're not the architect you could be 50 years ago or 70 years ago. You're not simply a builder of buildings, okay? You're not a constructor, you're not simply a builder of volumes, we could say in Italy, because volume in Italy is very important as a parameter. But you're something else. And so what is the architect today? What is going to be the architect of the future? Okay, what is next? And that's a really tricky but important question to answer, because I think that this job is really being transformed, and really profoundly and deeply transformed. So I think you're not a builder anymore, but maybe someone who has to propose new strategies, new ways of living, anticipating or predicting times, okay, predicting strategies for the future. So you're just having a crystal ball, okay, and you're just in your office and trying to understand what's happening next, okay. That's really pretty amazing and improving for you, because it's really difficult at the same time. But I think that this is just a challenge, and the challenge is to understand that this moment of particular crisis is not just a fated condemnation for me, but this is an opportunity to see and to discover new lands, new territories about the profession, okay? And I think that's really important. So, because we are just keeping, like every single time we just meet together, and we just keep on saying, okay, it's not very bad, okay, it's very difficult, okay, what we're gonna do now, I don't wanna do this job, okay, all right, okay. It is always the same thing, even in Italy, even abroad, okay, it's just the same thing. But I think that this particular moment has to teach us that this is an opportunity we have. It's very difficult, it's dramatic sometimes, okay, it's very, it's really overwhelming in some situations, but you have to do that. That's the only way to do. That's the only way to go further, I think. So what's next? I don't know. We have to think about it together, maybe.
And of course, what architect is not is a big question as as well. It's a matter of question.
So for instance, we were talking about, hello, can you hear me? Okay. we were talking about money just some minutes ago. Okay, that's really important because to do this job you need a lot of money. Okay, but how can you make money every day to do this job? That's just a tricky situation. Okay, and so for instance, at our office we have a particular side of it that is completely dedicated to new technologies and advertising, cinema, publicity, and lots of things. And so doing these lots of things, we can earn the money we need to go further and to make projects and to make the things we love, because I always say that I have a great fortune in my life that very few people have, and that is to go to the office every morning and do exactly and uncompromisingly what I love the most, and that's a great fortune you can have. Okay, I think that's the best one maybe.